You're welcome. I'm Charles Aite. This afternoon, the GRA is confident of a seamless rollout of the E-levy from the 1st of May. Commissioner of the GRA, Amishada Wosu-Amwa, has been explaining to George Riafi the remit of how the system will work.
We are working around the clock and putting every effort that we have to put in to ensure that we are able to get this tax rolling on the 1st of May. As you are aware, it was passed not quite long ago, and before then we had also done some groundwork and getting a lot of people involved. As far as 1st May is concerned, this is a tax that runs whether it is a holiday or a working day, and so because it's based upon the transaction that you do, we are still taking off on the 1st of May. In respect of the fact that it's a holiday.
Even for businesses that will not be working and all the rest. I mean, when it comes to these tax collections, what's the best practice? So what does the law say in respect to all these things?
Because this is a transaction, based off of tax, it is based upon whether you are doing the transaction or not. So it's not like whether we have found you working on a particular day, but once the transaction is being done on a particular day or on a particular time, the tax then applies. And so it is made basically a transaction. That's why we talk about E-levy, which is a transaction type of levy. When the transaction takes place, then the levy is charged.
We are following up on an emergency meeting ongoing between Cocoa Board and the Minerals Commission over the devastation of cocoa farms by the activity of illegal miners. Joy Business has learned from this meeting that these activities have affected cocoa farms across all 13 out of 16 regions in Ghana. Cocoa Board is worried that this trend, if not arrested, could kill the sector in the next 5 to 10 years. Take a listen to the chairman of the board of Ghana's cocoa regulator, Hackman Owusu-Agyemang. All of this, the Minerals Commission says it is taking pragmatic steps to reverse this trend. Investigations by the Commission revealed that droves of cocoa farmers are ditching their farms to engage in illegal mining. Chairperson of the board of the Minerals Commission, Barbara Otinjesi, has thereby announced a mining alternate program under her outfit to check, if not minimize, the impact on cocoa farms.
Need to really determine strategies to address this. We know that for the 13 regions in Ghana, with the exception of about 3 regions, cocoa production is impacted by illegal mining. I think it's only in about OT region, Greater Accra region, and the Volta region that we don't have this occurring. We are also aware that many of the cocoa farmers are selling off their farmland for mining activities. And definitely mining is taking place underground, and cocoa production is taking place above ground. So if we are doing a lot of mining in our cocoa growing areas, definitely there is a problem, and we need to look seriously at it. We are also aware that the revenue that is generated from mining is such that a lot of our farmers are attracted to it. And even now, information that we are getting is that a lot of the youth who previously used to engage in cocoa mass spraying now are unwilling to do it because they are getting more revenue from illegal mining. This is why I believe that His Excellency the President has mandated us to actually look at how we can address illegal mining so that the various negative impacts, including the impact on cocoa production, can be minimized. As a commission, we have looked at this and we have initiated the community mining scheme. The community mining scheme, through this, we expect to move people engaged in illegal mining into the formal small-scale mining, because the community mining scheme is a mode of small-scale mining, and we are spearheading it. We have developed a manual for it, and as we move more people from illegal mining activity into the formalized community mining scheme, we believe that this impact on cocoa production will also be minimized. We also realize that a lot of the people who engage in illegal mining, doing haphazard excavations all over the place, do so because they don't really know where they can find the mineral. So we have taken it upon ourselves, with the support of Geological Survey, to undertake geological investigations, to map out areas where we can let them undertake these activities, such that they will stop this haphazard mining all over the place. We have also realized that funding and appropriate technology is also an issue. So we are taking steps to support them with equipment as well as with funding. As we designate specific areas where they can work, we support them with the equipment and the funding, such that their operations are monitored and they cannot just go and work anywhere to impact cocoa production. The Minerals Commission welcomes this engagement with Cocoa Board, and we believe that as we discuss these issues which are impacting both of our operations, we can come up with strategies that the implementation will ensure that Cocoa Board is able to execute their mandates, and Minerals Commission is also able to execute its mandates. And at the end of the day, Ghana will be the winner, because we are mandated to ensure appropriate mining, responsible mining, to generate revenue for the country. And we all know that Cocoa Board, as the chairman said, has been producing cocoa.
Barbara Jesse there, the chairperson of the Minerals Commission. Let's now take a listen to Hakman Owusu-Ojeman, who says that Ghana's cocoa sector is bound to fail in the next 5 to 10 years if this situation of illegal mining activity is not curbed across all 13 regions where the activity is very much rampant on cocoa farms. Take a listen to him.
The Cocoa Board feels that the cocoa industry has had some setbacks, particularly in the mining communities or the cocoa galamsey areas. So why should we be sitting back? We belong to the same government, we belong to the same Team Ghana. Why don't we interact and know where perhaps we can exchange ideas, we can cross-fertilize ideas for the well-being of the cocoa farmer and of the miner? We all have to increase the output. We all have to bring in more foreign exchange, but we must do it in a decent manner that will benefit the country and society. So this meeting is supposed to do just that and chart a course where, as I said earlier, our collective effort, the synergy between both of us, will yield a multiplier effect than our individual go-alone method we are exhibiting now. We are aware that our river bodies have been polluted. We are aware that some farms have been degraded under the guise of galamsey. We cannot sit in Cocoa Board and find solutions to them. Equally, you may not know some of the setbacks the activities of galamsey is causing, or the havoc it is wreaking on the cocoa industry, which has continued to be the mainstay of the economy of this country from time immemorial, from Tetekwashi. Are we going to sit aloof and let the cocoa industry die? No. And certainly, Minerals Commission will not approve of that. So there is a need to jaw and find common solutions to common problems of Team Ghana. So that is the essence of coming together this morning under our 435th board meeting to find a solution. Ghana has 16 regions. If you go to major regions where cocoa are produced, like Western North, Western region, Ashanti, Eastern, many of the farms have been devastated by the activities of Galamsey. Are we going to just look at it? Because people's income are being wiped off. So there's the need to take a critical look at it, at the laws governing the Minerals Commission and how they operate, our own laws, how we communicate. These are some of the areas that we'll be looking at.
And we shall be following up on this meeting to give you updates in our subsequent bulletin. But still on mining, Newmont Ghana has launched an alternative livelihood training program for 24 selected young people from the catchment community of the mining company in the Ahafo region. They will learn welding and fabrication for 12 weeks. There's more in this report.
The training program, launched at Kenyase in the Sutifi North District of the Ahafo region, involves 24 youths, including 4 females along the Galamsey value chain. They were selected from communities in the Ahafo North and South concessions, including Adroba, Efrisipa, Tetre, Susuanso, Wamahinso, Jedu, Intotroso, and Kenyase 1 and 2. The 3-month welding and fabrication training at CPI in Tema for $300,000 will see the pioneers supported with a monthly allowance and industrial training for 3 months. The pilot program is to provide the trainees with a meaningful, decent, and viable alternative to Galamsey. Adikia Itevi is the vice president of Newmont Ghana Gold Mines, in charge of sustainability and external relations.
We did do an ASM, or artisanal small-scale mining baseline survey, to understand those who are involved in illegal mining. And when we did that, a lot of the people had indicated that they were not interested in doing illegal mining, but because they didn't have the work opportunity, by default they had to go there. So we worked with consultants, we spoke with the community and decided to do this pilot employment opportunity. So they are going to go through training in welding and fabrication, and we hope that through that they will also be able to get opportunity to work with companies who do work in welding and fabrication. We're also going to talk to our contractors to see those who are able to take them on, and if that doesn't work, then the last piece that we'll be looking at is working with the local government officials to have think about set up an industrial park, equip them so that they can create their own work where they can also look for other people to come in and support them. As some of them mentioned, when they can't get a job, then they also have to eat. Then they're going to think about going back.
Ahafo Regional Minister George Boache thanked Newmont for the initiative to combat the Galamsey menace and advised the candidates to make the most out of the lifetime opportunity offered to equip them with employable skills that would help them to contribute to the development of the country.
Now, Omebia, Yawo Edipa, skillfully, Omia develop, no, Omano Koso.
Ajumawe, Etu Galamsey na. Bright
Ajiman, a beneficiary, also appreciated the mining company for the support to move them away from the high-risk Galamsey activities. He said if Newmont carries out its plans for them after the training, their lives would certainly improve with a positive impact on society. Precious Semevo, Joy Business, Kenyase.
You're still watching The Marketplace. We're going for a short break. When we return, from the 2nd of May, the cost of eggs will increase by 20%. We have the association on standby to explain the reasons why. Do stay with us. Now, from the 2nd of May, the cost of eggs will increase by 20%. A memo from Small-Scale Poultry Farmers Association to members has brought up the new prices. A crate of small eggs go for 30 cedis, medium and unsalted eggs for 32 cedis, large eggs for 33 cedis, and extra large eggs go for 34 cedis. Of course, this is coming on the wake of high inflation rates, also the disconnection, the disruption in supply chain when it comes to fertilizer production from Ukraine back to Ghana. The association says it's really having an impact on the cost of production, both at the poultry site and, of course, the market gates as well. We're trying to get in touch with Fred Damwa, the Assistant Secretary of the Small Scale Poultry Farmers Association, who will be joining us for more explanation, especially when we are having this announcement just months after the industry was hit by an egg glut. The question now is whether or not this increase in price could have an impact on the consumption rate, which currently stands below 30% on a national scale. So we're trying to raise the lines to get in touch with Fred Damwa. If we do get the connection, we shall bring this particular interview. But in the meantime, though, for the purposes of our entrepreneurs watching us, here's an episode of Funded helping you understand the best ways to pitch your business ideas to prospective clients.
Hi guys, you are once again welcome to Funded with me, Dr. Thelma of the Desert Youth Services and Consultancy. In our previous session, we talked about putting a proposal or a business plan together. Today, we're talking about the fact that you do not need to overload your business plan or your proposal. Funders receive a lot and lots of them, and so it is always advisable to just put in the most important points. Your proposal should cover the executive summary, which should touch on all the important areas of your business. Also, your budget section should also be in there, covering all that you are going to use the money that you are seeking funding for to do, as well as the projected revenues, which will tell the funders how much money you seek to make in terms of returns. That way, they are convinced that your business is a profitable one. In as much as you need to convince them, also make sure that you do not exaggerate the figures you put in there, but then the figures are realistic and you can attain them. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Labadi Beach Hotel, for hosting us.
Of course, that was Funded there. This episode was about the best ways by which entrepreneurs can really put themselves out there to attract investors as much as possible. Let's now get back to our previous story regarding the increase in egg sales from the 2nd of May. It's coming in the back of the high increase in production costs that farmers are saying is really having a toll on their profit margins. Also, we do know that for this price increase, we're going to be expecting some contrition rate, especially when consumption rate for eggs in Ghana currently stands below 30%. And last year, there was a glut of eggs across the country, calling for, which resulted in prices reducing dramatically by over 50%. But this time around, consumers and producers are complaining that the impact of the Ukraine war, together with the continuing disruption in the supply chain of fertilizer, is really having a toll on the feed for poultry and subsequently the production of eggs back home. The Assistant Secretary of the Small Scale Poultry Farmers, Fred Damwa, will be joining us shortly for a conversation on the impact this could have on consumption moving forward, the possibility of prices continuing to increase, especially when inflation is on the high side, with food inflation also escalating the month of April. We shall raise the line to get in touch with him shortly, of course, to get a clear understanding of what particularly remains the state of Ghana's poultry sector and the subsequent production of eggs in the country. Fred, we're grateful that you could join us. You're increasing the rate, the cost of eggs in a moment when we're having inflation also skyrocket and the prices of goods and services skyrocket. Help us appreciate the impact it's having on your production, hence your decision to increase prices.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, so just as you said in your question, most of our goods and services are going up in prices. So one bitter truth is so many poultry farms are closing down because of what you just stated. And it's been happening for the past 2 years where cost of inputs are increasing on weekly basis. So here lies the case where we have to come together and decide on one thing or one price that would help all of us. And so I had the data. We looked at the data 2 years and now. Most of our inputs have increased by up to 200%, while the egg prices have just remained almost the same since the last 2 years. And so we thought it wise that business-wise, it would be very okay that we come together and come up with a uniform price that would help the whole Ghana. That would help the poultry farmers to stay in business. If not, I am not a prophet of doom, but I can say that in the next, let's say by the end of this year, most poultry farmers, including the big ones we know, may all close down.
That this is quite a vivid and, gloomy picture you're painting for us.
Yeah, so it's the reality. I will be sharing the data with you. Maybe later you can broadcast it in your subsequent bulletins. But that is the raw fact. A lot of maize used to be 75 cedis, 70 cedis. It's now 180 cedis, and we are even hearing that it's now about to move to 190. Which you can calculate the difference. Soya was just 95 cedis, 100 cedis 2 years ago. Is now 185. 300 cedis. You see, and a whole lot like wheat bran also was 20 cedis. Now we are buying wheat bran at 54, 57 cedis. So it really doesn't make sense that we should keep selling eggs unless we just want to all stay out of business. And mind you, egg is one thing we don't normally import from outside. It is one of our own locally produced goods that we can be proud of. So if we want to still stay in business, then we'll plead with all Ghanaians to accept these prices for the betterment of the industry.
Last year, your industry recorded an egg glut, and you complained about the fact that Ghanaians are not patronizing eggs that much. With an increase in your commodity, how is it going to impact on your consumption and your profit margins? Because definitely there could be a dip in consumption rate of eggs.
So I think that last year what happened was a similar thing. We just decided to adjust the price, and then suddenly the whole population, the pitches went down, like you said. And so this time we want to do it in a more professional way, or want to make it go more public so that people can appreciate our cry or our tears or our effort. Because if we don't do it like this, you don't understand why we are increasing the prices. Somebody may sit down and think, oh, they just want to increase their profit margin. But that is not the case. We are actually dying out.
Where do you see prices? Where do you see prices of eggs in the next 3 to 6 months, considering the situation we find ourselves in currently?
Yes, so that would also depend on the price of our inputs. You see, I will send you the data to take a critical look at it. Now, the last 2 years and now, the prices of eggs have just increased by just 50%, whilst the inputs are increasing by 200% and still counting, because we just heard that maize is about to go up, and definitely soya would also go up. And so that is serious. If we don't come together, unfortunately, the poultry industry has been an industry where most of the people, sorry to say, are not so much into the business aspect like the calculation. But here we are, we've come together, put a lot of analysis in place and realized that, look, we have to also increase our prices by a certain margin or we are out of business. I can tell you for a fact, and the records we have, that so many poultry farms have closed down. So many. Some have reduced their beds. I mean, we don't want to even talk about our situation here. So we are still, again, pleading with the public to accept it for us so that we can also keep producing eggs.
Fred Damoa, in under a minute, if you may, what are the challenges threatening your sector as we speak? In under a minute.
Well, I would say number one is the cost of input. And then also, when we look at the maize producers of Ghana complaining about some fertilizers and other things that has not made them produce the maize in the quantity that they need for us to be able to buy, something like that. So if we take it to the background,
All right.
That is also a challenge. And also, yes, mainly is the cost of production.
The cost of
apart
production.
From that, there is not really any present challenge that we have.
All right. And we shall see how best this is going to pan out in the weeks to months ahead in terms of consumption and impacting on profit margins. But we're grateful that you could join us. And that's how we wrap up this edition of The Marketplace. I'm Charles Aite. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.